Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we're going to be talking about 3 UFL teams officially cutting down their rosters to the required 50-man limit. Now, the date isn't actually until the 23rd. It has not been changed, despite what some people on YouTube and online are trying to tell you. The date is still 23rd, but 3 teams and a 4th that's doing it tomorrow have decided to do it a bit early, which makes sense in terms of, keeping the same guys you're going to have in week 1. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, we did a video on this about a week and a half ago where the teams were cutting down their rosters to 58 players, but the second wave of cuts is cutting their teams down to 50 players, and we have 3 teams that have done that in the Arlington Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, and the DC Defenders. So we're going to be going over all the players that got cut from there and talk about that 4th team that's also doing it that we know of for sure tomorrow. So without further ado, let's get started with the Arlington Renegades. Now, the 8 players that got cut, or the players that got cut, were Cy Barnett, wide receiver, Devin Darrington, running back, Marquise Lucas, guard, Jared Maiden, cornerback, Darius Moraine, defensive lineman, Roderick Perry, defensive tackle, inside linebacker Christian Sam, and Noah Taylor, defensive end. Now, Christian Sam, will start off with that one because of the fact that this is one that's not surprising at all. He basically just got put on the suspended list like a day or two ago. I'm going to have another video probably posted later today. We'll talk about that as well. But yeah, he just got put on the suspended list. So this is not a surprise at all that he's getting released. If you're on the suspended list and you're not a superstar, he's a really good player, but you're not a superstar, yeah, I'm not surprised you end up getting released. Now, the big surprise here is Devin Darrington. A lot of people, including me, thought he was going to be the RB2 for this team, but no, he is getting cut. This is a really solid guy that I would not be shocked to see a team like DC pick up, because this is a really solid running back. I'm kind of shocked he got cut. None of the other cuts are, super surprising outside of those ones, or mainly Darrington, but again, these are just, some of the players getting cut down. We're now at the 50-man roster for the Renegades, so who they have right now is more than likely basically what they're going to have, barring, one guy getting released and getting signed in the next week. So that's the Renegades. Now, the DC Defenders, we have a couple big surprises. Now, Kentrell Bryce, safety, Matthew Carrick, guard, Jordan Evans, linebacker, Jazz Ferguson, wide receiver, Greg Long, tackle, Takirius Tisdale, defensive end, Tim Ward, defensive end, aren't. And then Zaquandre White, running back. Zaquandre White is a bit of a surprise. White just signed to be one of those guys competing for the now vacant RB1 spot with Abram Smith going down. And 3 days later, he's released. So, yeah, that sucks for White, but he got his shot, and he probably got screwed over by the fact that he had to come in so late. But, again, this is a pretty big shock that he got cut like that. They didn't really give him a full chance. But Tim Ward and Tisdale both being released, those are surprising, but not super. As I talked about, the Roughnecks, when they did their cuts a couple weeks ago, the Defenders and Roughnecks have such good defensive lines that some of these really good players are going to get released. These are guys that I think the Michigan Panthers should pick up. I think that the St. Louis Battlehawks should pick up. These are the 2 type of guys that really any team, especially Tim Ward, that any team would benefit from picking up. So I think these are 2 guys that other teams definitely should go after. And then some of these other ones aren't massive surprises. You could be a bit shocked, at Jazz Ferguson getting released, but all in all, I think that this is, when you talk about as loaded as a roster they have, minus, the wide receiver position, this is a really good roster, so seeing guys get cut that are pretty good isn't too surprising, just like with the Stallions we saw, because you have so many good players, so that's who got cut from DC. And the last team in the Houston Roughnecks, this is where the big shock came. Manny Bunch got released, safety. This was an All-USFL player, but apparently there's some injury concerns with him, and he is released. This is a guy that if I have DB problems, I'm getting like that. Yes, if there is injury concerns, then it's a risk. But this is a dude who was incredible this past season in the USFL. People need to go after him. Isaiah Chambers, defensive end. Again, odd man out of that insanely stacked D-line. Hate to see it, but not a shock. Then you have Ayinde Eli, linebacker. Jeffrey Johnson, defensive tackle. Jair Joseph, tackle. Robert Myers, offensive lineman. Riddell Rahman, tight end. And Marcus Tatum, tackle. A couple of those O-linemen aren't shocks. Again, I'll talk about it in the video I have coming out later tonight, but they did sign one of their offensive linemen from this past season who just hadn't signed yet, and so that's a spot that is going to be for him all but guaranteed, so not surprised to see a couple tackles getting released. Rahman is a really decent tight end, but this is a group that did get a couple tight ends during the offseason, so he's, the odd man out there as well. Again, Manny Bunch, though, is the big shocker. This is one that a lot of people are like, whoa, about. Even though people are saying in hindsight, the interview Curtis Johnson did a couple days ago makes sense now that we're seeing Bunch get released. But this is a really good safety, one of the best DBs in the UFL whenever healthy. So since there might be some injury concern, but the fact is, this is a guy that, if you can, I'd say get him. This is a guy that a lot of teams would benefit from. Basically, any team besides like the Panthers could probably benefit from this guy. This is a guy that needs to be signed. But then the last thing to talk about in terms of the cutting is that Wade Phillips has said that the cut down will be done tomorrow for them. Again, this date isn't actually until the 23rd when they have to do it. And unlike with, the 58 roster cut down, it seems that a lot of these teams are getting this done earlier. Even though it's a day or two early, it still is early. But of course, the other big thing is that the Brahmas still don't know who the QB1 is. They do know that Flacco will be QB3, but the job is not Dormaday's yet. It is either him or Garber's, which we'll find out sooner. I mean, at this point, we only know of 2 starters, and that is with the Renegades and Roughnecks and Prez and Garantino. So that's what it is right now. But yes, the Brahmas will be having their cuts tomorrow, and I'm assuming probably 1 or 2 more teams does as well. So expect another one of these videos to come out tomorrow. And I might end up cropping these all together and doing one more video once they're all done. I may or may not. I probably will just make a playlist of them. So yeah, if you made it through this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Again, subscribe for more content. Next week, we're going to have some of the, the big boy videos. Going to have my game picks, which I'm revamping for this season. And then, of course, the power rankings video will come out next Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that as well. And as always, have a great night.